Chapter 62. Jarrah's dreams about the crucifixion and resurrection. Says Jarrah, "Now, this I could do, but my dreams are normally quite dreadfully and show me the world people in their very terrible form, and instead of them I see only devils. And as such, only recently I had a dream. I saw a marvellous person who resembled you, O Lord, a great deal. This person I saw bound with ropes like a criminal. Those following him weeping, I asked what this marvellous person had done that the world people treat him so badly. And the weeping, one after the other, told me. He was a mighty benefactor of humanity. He never committed any injustice, and the brightest truth was the honey of his mouth. To the world and power-hungry Pharisees he spoke the truth, and therefore they have him condemned to death at the cross by the weak Roman landlord. They now lead him to the place of execution. Come with us and see the reward the greatest human friend will receive from the bad, most selfish people." And I went with the weeping to a low hill and saw the honest person, who was full of blood because of the slashes and blows, dragging a heavy cross, and on his head he carried a thorn wreath to increase his torture. At the place of execution he was bared and thrown mercilessly like a wild animal onto the cross. Then they took many sharp nails and drove them with heavy hammers through hands and feet, and in so doing fixed him in the most gruesome manner to the hard and heavy cross. O Lord, this was a terrible sight. If I only think about this dream, I lose my senses. Finally, the cross was raised and put into an existing hole and wedged to stand firm. However, the most miraculous thing about this was that this above all measure honest person, even during all such torture, never uttered one single agonizing sound, while the other two, who by far were tortured less gruesome, screamed and wailed enormously. At this point I woke up, and my whole body was trembling. Lord, such a dream is indeed no joke for a so tender-feeling girl's heart like mine. Thereupon I immediately asked the dear Father in heaven that he should not let me have such heavy and agonizing dreams any more. And behold, until this hour I actually had no such heavy dreams to cope with. My father, however, always told me that dreams are like empty foam and originate from heavy blood. Can be. If I then have such heavy blood, I also otherwise had to be more sluggish than I actually be. But otherwise I am an agile and cheerful girl. How can I then have heavy blood? Say I, who has become a little sombre during the story. No, you my dearest Jarrah, you have ether-light blood. However, your dream is of great importance. But now nothing further about this. Time will be your teacher therein. However, blessed you are, having seen such dream. Only a few prophets had the privilege to see such in their visions. However, many things on this are hidden from man. The great why they will only get to know in the beyond. But now tell me another dream which you dreamt 3 days afterwards about the same person." Says Jarrah, Oh, I much more prefer to tell this, since it is many thousand times more cheerful. Suddenly, I found myself apparently still very early morning in a quite beautiful garden from where I unfortunately could see the place of execution from my previous dream. Such view immediately filled me with great fear, so that in my dream I began to pray to the dear Father in heaven to spare me a similar appearance. For I unfortunately still saw the 3 known crosses standing upright at the place of execution. But then a most beautiful youth came to me, consoled and strengthened me with the words which I have memorized. Do not be afraid, you tender, pure soul. What you have seen 3 days ago had to take place according to divine providence. Otherwise, no person could become blessed and see the face of God. What has been crucified was God's Son, and God was in him. Now, after 3 days, this Son of God will rise from the death of his divine flesh, out of his very own power, and from now on will rule over the whole of infinity, and his kingdom and his rule will forever not end. And all powers and forces will kneel before his name, and those who will not kneel will be allowed to blight. But the last, most blessed moment is near. Therefore, pay attention to the heavy sealed gravestone. When the youth had spoken such to me, behold, the heavy gravestone consisting of separate pieces lifted by itself from the grave, and from it rose cheerfully, nevertheless with an exceedingly dignified face, the very same man which I have seen being so terribly crucified 3 days ago. I even saw the markings on his hands and feet, and I did not doubt it for one moment that it was him. And the man came to me and said with an endlessly melodious voice, "This what you have seen here in a dream was only a seeming example of this what will happen in reality in the near future. However, before that you will see me in reality, and after my resurrection, quite often." After these words I woke up again and have thought about them a lot. However, except you, no man resembled him in reality. Say I. Now, perhaps I am him? However, now nothing further about this, and therefore about something completely different for tomorrow.